skibbity skigger, I hate skimmers. What's a skimmer? Well, let me explain. This is a little PSA for everybody, basically saying be careful at ATMs or when using any bank reading device. Even if you've gone into your local grocery store, you got some bread, some milk, and a couple of eggs, and you go up to one of those little card machines about that long and you try to pay with your card on it, even that can have a skimmer attached to it. And there's a lot of different varieties to them. So I'm going to explain what they are, I'm going to explain how they work, I'm going to explain what you can do to avoid them, and how the best ways you can avoid this are. So let's get into it. A skimmer is it's an attachment put onto these ATMs and bank readers. There will usually be a large piece placed over the actual buttons, and basically when you're pressing those buttons, those new buttons over it will remember what buttons you've pressed. The simple way to avoid it is, like right here, the pad will be, let's say this is the ATM pin pad, they will have another piece placed going across this whole thing, so you can't, if this is where the, you know what, this thing comes with a pen, so why don't I just use the pen? Okay? This is your terribly drawn keypad. They're not just going to place a piece over this, it's going to go from all the way edge to edge. So what you can do is you can feel around the edge, and if there is something sitting over this, you'll be able to feel it around this edge. And if you do find one, do not use that ATM, because this is just the start of your problems. That might remember your PIN, but you might be thinking, well, that's fine, because they can't do much with just my PIN, they also need my card number. Well, there's two ways that they actually get your card number. One, there will be a piece of plastic sitting over the point where you actually put in your card. That piece of plastic will somehow remember your card number. I gotta be honest, I'm not even sure how that piece does it, but it does somehow. So you can avoid that as well by just giving a little tug onto that bit there where you'd put your card in, and you're not gonna break the ATM. If you're tugging on that little bit, it's not gonna come off. It's built into the ATM. So if a scammer has put one over it, it'll pop right off quickly. Why does it pop off quite quickly? Well, because scammers are putting these down in a hurry. They can put one of these onto an ATM and leave in less than 30 seconds. The reason why they're so easy to pull off is because they just put a tiny bit of tape or glue. If they want to spend more time putting this on more securely, then there's a higher risk of them getting caught. And since these scammers like to do this quite short and quick, they're not going to go into the extra effort to make sure that it stays on. Especially if they're going to come back a week later to remove it to see what data they've managed to pull from the amount of people they've managed to scam with it. However, they don't even need to come back, as some of these will be transferring this information without any need to actually take back the component. It'll send it across the world. I don't think it uses the internet, but it'll just send it through the air and they can get it. And the way that you can tell if one of these is happening is if you put your phone close towards the ATM, it will have a Bluetooth signal. And if the ATM has a Bluetooth signal, which is a large string of numbers or letters, then that could be a skimmer inside of the ATM. Now, some people say that to be able to check for this, you can also see if the original tape is on the ATM or not. But that doesn't seem like a very perfect answer. I wouldn't be convinced that if there's tape on the ATM that there's nothing in it. So, with all of this in your mind, how do you actually avoid these skimmers that scammers are putting on ATMs? Well, I have 3 different strategies that I'm going to share with you today. And you know what? The whiteboard is going to come back in clutch again. I bought this for a Nunicorn reaction video, which I don't think I ever uploaded, and it's being more used now than it ever was then. Solution 1. It's a really simple solution. Just use cash. There's an old saying that cash is king, and in modern day it seems like it might not be, but I'm convinced it is. I'm convinced that cash is still king, because these scammers can only scam your actual card. So if you're using cash, you're not interacting with the card reader at all. There's no way that these scammers can get you. Option 2, and option 2 is my personal favourite. It's contactless payment. These scammers, they can only work with the information you give them. So the way that these skimmers work is that it's remembering your PIN number, it's remembering your account number. But if you use contactless payment on your card or your phone or whatever, they don't have any way of being able to read that. There isn't any invention that can read one of these card chips and remember it. So they have no way of being able to take your contactless information. So if you use a contactless payment like tap to pay, there's no way these scammers will actually be able to get you. And there is a third option. And this one is a little bit more exclusive, but it's a simple one. Multiple accounts. A lot of banks, such as Nationwide or NatWest, will... I don't know what American ones there is. I'm not American, but there's some British examples. Nationwide and NatWest, they will allow you to have multiple different bank accounts inside of your bank account. And the reason why this is a good solution is very simple. These have different information. Your card isn't set for all of these accounts. It's only set for your main one, the one that you created your bank account with, the one that you made that card with. So, alright, pause this video right now. Look at your banking app and see how much money you have in your main account. It might be $20 and you're going, oh, I guess the scammers don't have much to take from me. Or it could be like 10 grand and you go, oh my god, they're gonna steal all my money. And that's exactly how it works. The exact moment that you've put in your card and you've put in your PIN, they can take all of that money. It could be as soon as they go back to the machine to retrieve the information. It could be literally an hour time. Hell, they could probably do it in minutes if they really wanted. But the best solution to this is to have multiple accounts within your bank account. So you can have these multiple different places which people often use for savings or some form of such. But if you have a second account inside of your bank account and you've put as much of your money as you can into that, then they'll only be able to take the money from your main account using your card information. And that will save you a lot of aggro, a lot of grief, and a lot of money. I honestly hate these scammers. If there was someone inventing solutions to prevent these scammers, I would fundraise for them every day and night. But unfortunately there isn't. So the best thing that I can do to help you guys is to give you this information of how it works and what you can do to avoid it. I'm also going to link a bunch of videos in the description that basically explain the same things I've said, how they work and how you can avoid them. I think it's basically repeating myself, but I think they explain it clearer than I can. But I also hope that this video has been able to help anyone in any way that you can, really. This is a big problem in the States. It's a building problem in the UK. I haven't seen any reports of it in Europe, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. So wherever you are, just remember, check your ATM, check the card reader before you put it in, and check the PIN pad. And just be careful. Use contactless and use cash whenever you can, because it's a lot safer than using your card absolutely anywhere. Scammers don't even need to go this far. You could just like download something off the internet and they could put a software onto your computer that will steal your credit card information and anything else that's saved on there. So the best thing you can do is just be as careful as you can in this modern age, because holy god, scammers are everywhere and they're coming for your money. So protect your money, protect yourselves, and just don't be dumb, but be careful. But I'm gonna wrap this video up here. It's a bit longer than I wanted. It's a bit longer than I wanted it to be. But I kind of just wanted to make a little PSA just to let everybody know this is the problem, this is what's going on, this is what you can do to protect yourselves. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys.